Hello and welcome to ITWU Knows, ITWU Shows. My name is Stefan Schramm, and in this episode I would like to show you the use of mobile controls in the ITWU XPages Legacy Enabler. For this demonstrations I start with a Domino Legacy Database into which I have already copied the XPages Legacy Enabler design elements. To show the capabilities of the mobile controls, I use an iPhone simulator which I place on the left side of the screen. On the right side, I have a normal internet browser. Let's start and log in into the application. As you can see, by default, the application is rendered through the ITWU XPages Legacy Enabler without any configuration. So it will show you every view of the legacy database and every field which is in a document. Let's take a look at the iPhone. A lot of views. They are all hidden. But if we want to take a look at a view, we simply go into a view. It opens. This is all rendered by default through the XPages enabler. And then we open a document. This is also rendered by default. And you see every item is rendered. So we have really a lot of information which you can't see on the phone to scroll or to resize it. So we have to start configuring our application so that we see the things we want and not too much. I go to the browser on the right and I switch to configuration. The first thing we have to decide is which UI style to use. We have a mobile UI style, which is demonstrated on the iPhone, and a web UI style, which is the default style you know from former presentations. So for the platform iPhone, I choose the UI style mobile, and for an iPad, I would choose the UI style web. By default, I choose also the UI style web. So you can configure each platform. Even if we get new platforms, we make more choices. So you can configure each platform. Then we go into the view configuration. You see at the moment, I chose to show all views. Now I chose show all but hidden ones. I save this. And we go back to the iPhone. Like this, as you can see, a lot of views are hidden now. And these are the hidden views. Now you only see the views which are normally shown in the UI. If this are still too much views, we go back to in the configuration and we select views. So, for example, we only show these 3 views. We save this. We go back to the iPhone, reload the application, and now we have only these 3 selected views. Let's take a look into the view. You can see, okay, now the view is rendered in the same way as before. And as you can see here, the view still has a programmatic name. This is the name a programmer uses to program a view, and he could use a normal name so everyone can read it and know which items to find in the view. But often programmers use this programmatic names. But now we want to give them a label and we put them into categories. So we have our addresses views categorized and flat. This means we have to go back to our configuration and we have to select advanced. In the advanced configuration, you have to configure each view manually. So you add a view, you select a view from your database, for example this one. Then you can decide in which UI style you want to show this view. So only in the web style or only in the mobile style, or as in this case in both styles. This is an addresses view, and so I name the category addresses, and it's categorized, which means it's by company. Now I can select for the different UI styles, so web or mobile, which columns to display in the view. On a smartphone, you have only a limited screen, which means, okay, perhaps you want to save some space and display only less information than in a legacy database. This means in this view I could decide only to display the three, where in the web style I show all. Okay, let's go back onto our iPhone and reload the application. Now as you can see, we have the category addresses and then the view by company, and now you see it is less information displayed. But if we go into a document, we still have too much items. So the next thing is to configure a form. So we go into this form. As you can see, the form is named company. So we configure the company and we gave it a form label company. I think we don't need a description, which would be displayed under company, because company is a real good description. Now we chose the label position. I like the label position above. You could try it, but definitely on a mobile device, the label position above looks really nicer. If you check show this unconfigured fields option, this means we later start to configure fields, but the unconfigured fields will be also shown, but below the configured fields. I don't select to show the unconfigured fields. The next choice is we have to decide if we want to display attachments. Yes, we want to display attachments. And the next choice, if this form should be editable. This is not part of this presentation. I will show the edit mode in another presentation. Now we have to save it, and now we can configure fields. We have to do it manually in this version. We configure a field. This field should be shown in all designs. I have to know the field name, which is a programmatic name, and then I give it a label and save it. We go back to our iPhone and reload the application. And now we go back and open this company, and as you can see, only this one field is shown because I've only configured one field. I will pause the presentation for a short time and configure more fields. Now I have manually configured 5 more fields. In a later version of the XPages Enabler, we will get an action to automatically read the form design and create all fields by default, and then you can decide which to display. It will be much more easier. Now we go back to the iPhone simulator and reload the application. And open the view again and open the document again. As you can see, now you got a really good view at the document you wanted to create. This gives you a first impression on how the Legacy Enabler uses the mobile controls and where you can use the mobile controls. We will create a lot of more features using the mobile controls, especially HTML5 attributes. So you can actually click on the telephone number and your telephone will dial, or you can click on a geolocation and a map application might open and show you where it is. I hope to show you the edit mode for the web UI in one of the next applications. I hope you enjoyed this application. Thanks a lot for your time and see you soon.